remember, I want to paint around the owl, and I want to paint around the snow, and I want to paint around the sky holes. So snow, sky holes, very important, and the owl. So I don't want to cover those areas. There's another little sky hole. Sky holes are very important. I am going to go right into the mix of ultramarine and the green gold here, just because it's wet. And so I'll work from area to area. So I like how it's dispersing on the wet yellow and maybe a little more blue. And so by working this way, I can vary the hue and value of the color. And I can also play around with a little textural effect. So if I press my brush down halfway, I get a bristly sort of stroke. So here's a little sky hole. So now there's a little texture around it. And then where it's, and I'm seeing a branch there. I'm going right into my burnt sienna ultramarine mix for this branch that is, it's dark, so that green blends right into it. And while this is wet, I can drop in more pigment if I want it darker. I'm going to do this stem that's going over the sky hole. That's just water. And now I'm going to touch it with my neutral combination. Now back to my green. I want it to be a nice smooth edge around the snow. I'm going to go back to my dilute green gold to set the stage for the evergreen. And now I'll go in with my blue. It's really dark up here. I went back to my bigger brush. Just to intensify things, I could add some neutral tint to this.
Would you ever pop like a tiny bit of red here and there just to liven up the greens?
That's a great idea. You could even drop some cad red in while the green is wet. Yeah, I just touched that wet area. When you have a lot of green, it's good to break it up with a much warmer color. If this is my neutral, and this is with the ultramarine and burnt sienna, you could even add some pinks to this color. So there's a spray of evergreen going over the owl. I'm just mixing what's dripping down in my tray, so I'm getting a little duller variation in my color. You look at this picture, you can see the difference in value between the owl and the snow here. So we know that the owl is not white. There's a tone. So a little blue and a little burnt sienna. It's a real gray. I'm going to make it even bluer. Oh, too blue. Okay. That's what I'm going for. I'm going to go over everything, even his little beak, because this is such a pale wash. I'm even going to go over the foliage that's out here because he's really in shadow. So make sure you have enough mix up. You want a nice puddle. Now here's a little snow, so I'm going around that snow. So it's a little deeper in tone over here. So I'm going to just increase the amount of pigment, and I want to apply this while it's still wet. I'm just going to put the tone on the side of his face. And I have some little pine cones, so I think I'll paint around where the pine cones are going to go. Got more snow here. Put another pine cone. With clean water, I wet the snow right up to the edge of the green. So now I will take my neutral, and now this is this little mound of snow in front of this one. So I will end my water right here. So I can tilt that up just a little. So you see how this has created a little shape. I'm going to start with the burnt sienna. Okay, so while this burnt sienna is wet, I'm going to go right into my neutral tint. And when I say neutral tint, I mean the tube color, not neutral mix. Okay, so I'm dropping this in. So I'm putting the burnt sienna on wet on dry. And then while it's wet, I put in the neutral tint or the black. These eyes are very black and they look very flat. So I'm going in with just a wet brush and I'm just going to do a little lifting, get a little more light in the eye. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Now I'll do that over here. Oh, much better. Just see how I just lifted out a little light in there. So I'm putting in this yellow beak. All right, so now I'm going to switch to the burnt sienna. I may switch to a raw umber here. Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. I'm going to wet these markings with water and then drop the color in because that'll give me a softer edge. It's interesting how they have it. It's almost like they're wearing a scarf and the stripes go this way and then they go down. just taking a little cobalt blue to the owl for more shadow. Oh, I have a little pine cone here, a little burnt sienna. I think I'm going to darken this area in here. I'm going to wet this first. And I'm going to do negative painting around this little branch that's coming forward. And this will dry lighter. But I wanted a little closer in value to the greenery over here. So while this trunk is wet, I'm adding the evergreen color so it blends. I just dropped a little red in there. I'm just going to let it blend. I want this tree to have a little more texture, this tree trunk. I'm just spritzing here. I'll also put more tone on this branch here. I want the owl to really pop. A little tone on those clumps of snow. So right here, the clump of snow just kind of goes right into the sky hole. That's okay.